Hey guys, it's Dave, the Chicago Nerf, and today I have a box. Alright guys, so we all should know what this is. I did open this up at my office, just this part of the box, just to confirm it, because I've got a lot of boxes coming with Christmas and everything. So yeah, when this came today, I was very excited. And yes, we are talking about the one, the only DZP Mark II. Now this box I have not opened. We all know what's inside of here, but I have not touched it, I have not felt it, I don't know, so let's get my first impressions on this, and we will go from there. So let's get this thing opened up. Right. So, first thing, do not return this to a store. Get that back in place. We have the instructions, which are pretty simple. Not really much to it. But either way, we know how this thing works. We've got our half-length bamboo darts. We've got the speed loaders. We've got the DZP Mark II itself. That's got good weight to it. That's got a nice weight to it. And then down in here, I got the scissors out. Scissors are all clipped in. Got the holster, speed loader holster, and the gigantic muzzle brake. Yeah, I wish that was a little wider. I can't see this not affecting performance. But that's, we'll find out. We'll get into it. So there's those components. Let's do the speed loaders. Nice. Actually, yeah. Plastic is solid. It is on par with definitely Hasbro, if not even better at this point. This is right on par with the Mark I, as far as build quality on the plastic goes. And now the piece itself. Yeah, this is nice. The scales are metal, definitely can confirm that. They add the, wow, it balances so nicely. Does have an aluminum barrel, which is quite nice. It's got a safety. Okay. You can top load. Yeah, that's nice. That was not even a difficult prime at all. First impressions, I am already enjoying this. This is really nice. Ergonomics are perfect. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So, you know the drill. We're going to put this through its paces. We're going to get it outside over the chronograph. We're going to range test this thing. I don't see any range claims range claims, so we'll just set up a random lane, and we'll go down there. We'll get some accuracy on there. We'll get some range data. We'll get the chronograph data. We'll come back for my final thoughts, and we are going to put all the proper darts through it. We're going to do Worker Gen 3s. We're going to do AF Pro darts, and we're going to do the DZP Bamboo Pro darts as well too. So we'll get all three, all the numbers from everything, and then my final thoughts at the end. They are undoubtedly going to be positive on this one. So yeah, let's get it outside and see what this thing can do. Let's go. All right, guys. So we're out here on the range with the DZP Mark II. I've got it loaded up with the included bamboo darts. I've got the two speed loaders, one with AF Pros, one with Worker Gen 3s. I've got the range set up from 50 feet all the way down to 150 feet. So we'll see where everything ends up, but let's start with the bamboo darts and we'll go from there. Next up is going to be the workers. And now we finally got the AF Pros. Ooh, that's so good. Don't jam up on me. Let's see. Worker. I have to go with it. Here we go. AF Pros. Although we knew that was going to be a squib. All right, so let's see where everything ended up. All right, so 60 feet, we've got the one squib, the bad dart from the AF Pros that we knew was going to come in that way. But that's about it for shorter stuff that I can see. We got a worker coming in right at, where are we at here? Would have been 100, would have been 75, so 80, so right, yeah, 90 feet. You got one of the workers. Right at about 92, we got one of the bamboos. Then right at 100, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the rest of the bamboos are coming in right at 100. We got another worker at 100, another one at about 105. Two more of the AF Pros at 100 as well. Two more of the AF Pros at 105. And we've got two workers at 110, and then one worker at 119. And that is kind of the, that's the bunch there. I will say you could see everything, you know, it's fairly accurate as well too. The worker darts did fly a little wonky, but the AF Pro and the bamboo darts are great out of this. I think the AF Pro darts did the best, to be honest, as far as control, but yeah, bamboo darts look good too. So let's get some Chrony numbers and then we'll go back inside. All right. Chronograph time for the DZP Mark II. We're going to start with the bamboo darts. Then we're going with the Worker Gen 3s. Then we're going to finish up with the AF Pros. Have all the numbers up. Let's see what happens. All right, bamboo darts. Error. $128. Let's get that error back. Duplicate 128. 132. 123. 100. 127. 117. 122. 121. 127. All right, let's load up some workers. $95, $109, $104, $135, $102, $113, $109, $114, $95, $100. All right, let's load up the AFPs. $127, $119, fail, $118, $111, $123, $114, $124, $121, duplicate $121. We want to get that 10th number. $122. All right, so yeah, let's discuss everything and let's go inside. Actually, you know what? Let's do one more set of numbers. I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. I just wanted to get a set of numbers with the muzzle brake with the bamboo darts. So let's see where they're coming in. 116, 127, 107, 126, 120, 119, 131, 121, 122, 128. So yeah, let's go over everything inside. All right, so let's go over my final thoughts on the DZP Mark II. The build, it is super solid. This is honestly one of the most solid blasters I have felt. Hasbro, third party, 3D printed, otherwise. This is definitely up there. It's a 10 out of 10. The metal scales are awesome. The metal barrel is a great addition as well. The fact that you can get at the spring simply by unscrewing the prime, and you can tease it out right there. There is a gentleman, if I can find the link to it, I believe his name is Igor. He has already designed an upgraded FPS cap internally to get this thing up to like 175. So that's already happened. I'll try and have a link to that down below as well. But yeah, the feel, the ergo of this is phenomenal. I really, really do love it. It's perfect. It's exactly what I'd want. Coming in and out of the holster, it's great on the hip. I really do like that as well too. And then the prime. I know a lot of people have said that this is a stiff, heavy prime. Personally, for me, this prime is not bad at all. I think this is actually lighter than the Aeon Pro. I think it's lighter than the Nexus Pro, even though it's completely different mechanics. So the muscles you're using, the way you're using them a little bit differently. But this prime is stellar. I mean, it's right where you want it to be. And you can fire off 6 rounds very rapidly. Just boom, 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 boom. And it's that quick. So I give this a 10 out of 10 for feel as well. Compatibility, obviously no full length darts, but it does shoot everything half length, even the cut down AF waffles. So the compatibility is great. One thing I did find though with the AF Pro darts, and this is the same thing I found using my Talon Claw, is just because the diameter on these guys is ever so slightly smaller because they're optimized for both the Nexus and the Aeon, which do have a plastic coupler in the barrel there, which kind of compresses on the dart. I did have several of these fall out of the tip after I had chambered them. So do keep that in mind. Didn't have the same issue with the bamboo and did not have the same issue with the workers. But it is compatible with everything as far as half lengths go. Speed loaders and the accessories. The plastic quality on the speed loader holster and the holster itself are pretty impressive for a toy. I mean, this is great. I really love it. It slots in easy. It pulls out easy. It holds it as much as you'd want it to. This is awesome. The only thing that I will point out is that, and some other folks have noted this as well too, and I would say this is something regarding the whole blaster as well for one other point. This is geared towards a right-handed play style. Now, if you're left-handed or ambidextrous and you don't really care, or you're left-hand dominant and you can still pull a secondary with your right, this is going to be perfect. The other thing I've noticed as well is with the safeties where it is, if you are left-handed, there could be an issue with you clipping it safe and then not being able to fire. On the right hand, you're not having that issue because you're going to be constantly pushing it into fire when you got it off trigger. So just a little thing to keep in mind, this is a little bit more geared towards the right hand. The speed loaders themselves, I think these are great. Oddly enough for me, neither of mine clip in. Sorry, that was loud. But neither of mine, really lock into place. So I don't know if that's just something with mine, something with the speed loaders. It's also cold here in Chicago, so I don't know if that has an effect on it as well. But mine have never clipped in. Regarding the speed loader holsters, I think they actually work really quite well in 2 respects. When you've got the speed loader full, you're going to be putting it in down. And I found that was great. Pull it out, you're in the position that you need to be, set it on top, load it up. And then I found it actually easier to flip it around, and it went right back in for me. I was not having the same issues that other folks were having with resetting the speed loaders into their holster. With a little bit of practice, I think a lot of people can get good at this. Could this product have been a little bit better? Yeah, I guess, but I think it works really, really well for what it is. And the other fact of the matter is, which we'll get to this at the end, this definitely plays more like a competition blaster, and for quick rounds is what you're going to be using this for, or somebody who is going to be more the objective person versus the one that's going to be setting more suppression shots from the rear. So do keep that in mind. But that being said, performance-wise, with the bamboo darts, we averaged about 122.5 FPS. Worker Gen 3s were 107.6, although I did have both the highest and lowest with the workers. I think it was 95 and 135, so the largest spread, but also not the highest average. The AF Pros came in right at 120, and then the muzzled bamboo darts came in at 121.7. So the bamboo darts are clearly performing the best out of this. as it is optimized for them. Same thing with the DZP Mark I. It was optimized for the bamboo darts. They are going to work best with this setup. That being said, my overall performance, and I'm going to throw look into this as well too, or on my overall thoughts. Normally I do look a little bit separately and I give that a 10 out of 10, but we do have to discuss that in my overall. Personally, this blaster is the biggest game changer of the year, if not in a while. I think it's much bigger than the Aeon Pro. I think it's much bigger than the Nexus Pro, even regarding their price points, and I'll get into that in a little bit as well. But the things that we need to consider are, you know, what is our hobby and who is this specifically for? And I think that, you know, we need to come to the realization that there are a lot of different facets of our hobby, and there are a lot of different reasons why people might be buying specific blasters. The fact of the matter is, you got your general nerfers, your new people who are typically just picking stuff up off the shelves. They're probably going to be trending more towards survival stuff as soon as they get a regular dart blaster and they see that the FPS is higher and it's a little bit more for that 14 and up. So I can see people trending towards that right off the bat. You've also got your cosmetic people who care about, you know, integrations and making things look bizarre or look more like a prop or something like that, where performance may be secondary, even though a lot of those people are upgrading performance anyway. But the looks are what's most important for the cosmetic folks. Then on the opposite side, there are the performance nuts who are going for strict FPS, whether it's, you know, high-end springers with brass barrels that are polished and waxed and all sorts of stuff like that, or whether you're breaching an HPA at this point and, you know, getting upwards of 300 plus easily on darts. You know, so those are those guys. Then we've also got the cosplay and the LARPer guys who are getting blasters for a specific look, whether that's a milsim look that's going to be more realistic, the black painted blasters, the more gun, you know, real steel firearm looking blasters, or the blasters are going to look specifically like a sci-fi prop, like something like the Mando blaster that was just coming out, even though it's not going to be in people's hands till July. But that sort of stuff. And then lastly, I mean, there's many more in here, but the last other large one is the competition players, which is kind of a blend of accuracy and performance, where they want FPS and performance, but it's under a certain rules set depending on which game it is. So there are people that are more in tune with the gear as far as how it's going to perform from round to round under different conditions, you know, where they need to have their springs, where they need to swap out for something lower, something higher. The competition is where people are really thinking more and more about the blasters, I'd say, than anywhere else. And I'd say that this is honestly for two of our groups. The first one being obviously the cosplay and milsim folks. We can't get around this, and this is one major factor that we do have to discuss with this blaster, is that it does look like a real steel firearm. I'm going to hopefully have a couple pictures up here of things that I found after I just Googled red Glock, because this looks like a Glock with a little bit of an extended end, and we can't really deny that. But for milsim people, for cosplay people, this is amazing. It's right there. It's going to be way cheaper than anything airsoft, and you're going to get a really nice desired look. Plus, with the metal scales, there's the right grip, and it's got some nice weight. It's going to give you some nice feel as well, too. So obviously for those folks. The other people that I really think this is for, and this is what's a bigger game changer, is this is for our competitive people. You know, primarily I would think this is for a sidearm, or if someone is coming in like an Ion Rush and their goal is to run the flag, but they want some firearms, you know, or some projectile ability, you're going to have 18 rounds on you. If that's what you want to carry, with the speed loaders and the initial 6 in the handle. That's a good amount of rounds for an Ion Rush game. You know, typically those aren't lasting more than 45 to a minute, 45 seconds to a minute. So 18 rounds at single shot, that's going to be tough to blow through. You know, but why this is a game changer is because this really says that our competition is now becoming a true shooting sport. And I don't think that's something that we should shy away from. I think that's something that we need to embrace. Whether it's something like competition airsoft, competition paintball, archery, You know, like a Nordic event where they're skiing and shooting. There are all sorts of different things where shooting sports are really positive. And I think that we need to embrace that aspect of our hobby and where we're going with the performance side of things. Is this necessarily for an HVZ? I don't know. That's up to each individual game runner as far as, you know, how realistic they're going to make things look. But honestly, if you're in a major HVZ with a couple hundred people that are all running around with Nerf blasters or the like, I think a handful of these in the mix are not really going to set off any alarms. Same thing with your pretty common games. If you've got 25, 30 people out there, I don't think a few of these are going to rain on anybody's parade. But that's my personal opinion, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I think that we do need to really think about and discuss foam flinging, at least at the competition level, as becoming something a little bit higher than what we previously thought about it ourselves. So that's why I think this is realistically the biggest game changer that we've had in a long time for competition, because it transitions us from more or less goofing around and still having fun, which we are, into truly being competitive and sport. And we've got a great maker in Primetime Toys and Dartzone that are catering to us as sportsmen and sports ladies. And I think that's phenomenal. So if you got the money for the $80, it's realistically $85 with tax. You know, but if you can afford this and it's something you want to look into, I highly, highly, highly recommend this product. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Please do the like, the subscribe, the bell. That really helps a smaller channel like mine. And I hope I can see you guys in another video. And yeah, I'd like to hear some feedback from what you guys think about the Mark II down below. If this is something you're going to pick up, if this is something that you're going to pass on, what your thoughts are on it, what the Milsim thoughts are, what the cosplay thoughts are, what the competitive thoughts are. I'd love to hear from you guys, and we can have a great conversation down below. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and Chicago Nerf, everybody.